Traders, I think it is almost time for the reversal, aka back to the upside in the stock market, and get ready for another really big move to come, because there's so much fear in the marketplace. And when people are fearful, it's time to be greedy. I want to cover all that in today's video. Traders, if you do need some help, that's second link in the description. Go to getjohnshelp.com. There's actually a 25-minute video there walking you through my trading system, who I am, and so much more. And that's also application to my coaching program. Now, here's the thing I really want to share with you, okay? One thing I'm noticing here more and more and more is every time I look at the markets, one of the biggest mistakes that we are finding when it comes down to all these markets here that we're looking at here, that I'm looking at, right? All these markets. One thing that I'm always looking at and always making sure that I do is I'm trying to look at what the market is doing right now and then what that story is telling me, and not what I want it to tell me. So in the past, when I was trading, I would always try to incorporate or import a story of why something was going to happen instead of what is happening, right? And this is so important because we want to we only can trade with what is happening, right? Not what we think is going to happen. Never trade based off what you think is going to happen, what you hope is going to happen, and what you're fearful is going to happen. Always just trade based on techniques of where the markets work. Now, here's the thing that I'm always looking at here with the markets, okay? So whenever I'm looking at the markets, whenever I'm trading the markets, I'm always asking one simple question, and this is what I want you guys to do. And in every single market, ask yourself one simple question. Who's more dominant in this market right now? AKA, where is the trend? Is it more up? Is it more down? What's going on? So if I use any market for here, all right, if I use any market, and just use this market here, but you use any market. If I can see that, and let's actually just do this here. Let's see if we can go through, let's go blue, right? And yeah, we'll go that, right? So if I go blue, we're going to go up, we're going to go down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, and now we're coming down through here, okay? So here's the thing. One of the things that's so important is to see what the market is doing right now, and that tells us what's going on, okay? Because if we are thinking, okay, for example, the top is in right now, which is probably not going to happen, because the fear barometer right now is pinging. I'll show you what I'm talking about here when it comes to that. If I bring this up through to this one here, look at this fear and greed index. This fear and greed index, now this is obviously short-term analysis, right? You guys that are long-term investors, this is short-term technical analysis, right? This is techniques, it's trend analysis, charting, so on and so forth. But as you know, what does Warren Buffett always say? Oh, maybe not always, but what does Warren Buffett say? And have you heard the analogy of what Warren Buffett says? Because if Warren Buffett says it, well, it's got to be true, right? So let me show you this here. If I go to my post, this is a post that I've done on Facebook, that I've done on YouTube. Okay, if you go to a post, I actually put up a recent post just trading about success doesn't come by chance. It comes from, anyway. So if you want to read that recent article that I put up there, make sure you read that. Also, make sure you read this one about it's incredibly hard to urge to trade, to take action when you shouldn't. This is about not trading and so on and so forth. But 2 weeks ago, this has to be one of the most hated bull markets I've seen in the last 20 years. I guess because most comments are bearish. Still to this day, they're bearish. We should see a lot more upside to come. Mr. Warren Buffett, what does he say? Be fearful when others are greedy, and be greedy when others are fearful. But John, you don't understand. I got a message. I don't care. Now, fear in the marketplace. So what does Warren Buffett say? I don't know. I'm just the guy that's been trading for 20 years. One thing I do know is that I used to think the opposite. Oh my goodness, so much fear in the marketplace. That's it. The crash is starting. And then the market goes up. For you guys who have been trading more than 5 years in the markets, you know exactly what I'm saying, right? So first thing I just say there, guys, is I always like to keep an eye on this barometer, because whenever we start to get to the extreme fear, we're getting ready for that turning point. So that's the first thing. And then obviously the one that I was really touching on today, which is just looking at the market. And if the market is coming down, one of the biggest mistakes that people will do is they do this, okay? If the market starts to come down through here, like this, and let's just say this is over the course of, let's just say this is over the course of, right, there we go. So this is over the course of 1 to 2 weeks, right? 1 to 2 weeks coming down. If you're focusing on that short-term analysis, and this is where zooming in on, say, 1 month worth of data, because I use the daily charts here, or focusing on zooming right in is really bad. We need to see the forest from the trees, because the forest from the trees is where the big picture really starts to kick into play, right? And then we can make sure we keep it alert on the big picture. And so we could see this thing coming down through here, even coming down through here. And you'd be like, oh my goodness, the top's in, the market's crashing, it's going to keep going down. And then what is that? We're fearful now. We're trading based on I'm fearful the market's going to crash. And then suddenly you start to kick in the FOMO. Let me go short, let me buy put options. Right? And then the market does this. But one thing you don't realize is that if you actually saw this beforehand, what if the market did something like this coming up here? So if you're focusing too much on this short-term movement here, you're getting so sucked in on the short-term movement. And this is where, if you've been trading less than 5 years, you're going through what I call the discovery phase. The discovery phase is just trying to learn about everything, right? I've been trading the markets for 20 years. And when I first started getting access to these financial markets, I had no idea. I didn't even know what a chart was. I didn't know what an indicator was. But over the last 20 years, I'm starting to get a little bit better at it, right? I hope so. Anyway, and the reason why I'm saying this here is that because the market does this in a very big bull trend until we don't get higher lows, the trend is still in place. Because so many times the market will go up, right? And then it will go down. And then we think the top's in and it will just keep doing that until it doesn't. And so what's happening here right now? Well, this is the low. This now could be another higher low. This is the Dow Jones here. So right now, this could be a higher low. And we're also right at the level of support. And we've got a lot of fear in the marketplace. The stage is set for a slingshot move to the upside. Here we go. Right, so that's the Dow Jones. The NASDAQ as well too. What's happening to the NASDAQ? This here, right here, was the last significant low. We're still above it. S&P 500. That there was the last significant low. We're still above it. Still could be creating a higher low. And then, well, Russell is different, right? Russell is, who knows what's happening with the Russell these days. I do see a big breakout coming soon, but who knows if that thought is going to be right. So I really wanted to I really want to cover this with you guys, what's happening in the markets right now, because I'm finding a lot of people are getting fearful. Remember guys, the market likes to do this at least once per year. At least once a year, we're going to get the short-term shake and bake. It happens every year. And if you know this happens every year, and most of the time it doesn't turn out to be what you think, meaning a drop, then, then we can go from there, right? So what I'm talking about here is this. If I go to the S&P 500, right? Look at this here. Look at this big drop here on the S&P 500. Why did this big drop here then suddenly create a bit of a slingshot move to the upside, right? Because all this was doing was creating the overall flow of the pattern. And then what do we get? Up and then down, quite a low. Actually, in fact, doesn't this look really similar to what's happening right now, right? We've got a strong move up. We're getting a pullback. We're probably going to get something like that. And then a really big move to come, right? So to me, what I'm seeing right now when it comes to these markets, looking at the short-term analysis, this here, the S&P, the Dow Jones. Once again, Dow Jones, you're probably going to make a little higher low here right now. And then away we go to the upside. And if that does happen, then this could be the stage is set for the slingshot for the final blow off top. And I really do believe that. And so we can see it through there. And if we bring up this chart here, that is a resistance line. Can you imagine what's going to come next? For you technicians out there, that's an ascending triangle pattern. Now, what you don't want to do is never want to try to jump in early, right? That's where with my trading setup, again, link in the description there, you'll be able to see my trading system. Always wait for a successful trade for you to have a successful trade. You need two things. One, you need your setup, and two, you need your entry candle. Too many traders are like, should I be in now? Should I be out now? When I trade, I'm always trading a setup that I have. Again, I'll teach you in the training, but I always have the setup, but then I also know the exact entry candle I'm looking for to get in on to make a really, really, really nice move. So if you think the market is topping out right now because we've got a double top and the market's going to go down, one, we're still in an upward trend and the trend is your friend until the end. The trend is still up. And also, secondly, there is so much fear in the marketplace right now. So right now, the stage is set. The slingshot pattern to create the final blow off top is coming.